If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home. Welcome to the Voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL, 950 AM, 100.3 FM. And you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com, and you can find us on your favorite podcast platform. Just look up Catholic Audio Media, all one word. On Spotify, Catholic Audio Media, 3 words. And you may have to scroll to find the Voice of St. Anthony Parish. Well, one of the things I want to talk about in light of what we've been talking about this week in understanding what our country is really about and how we live this as Catholics and other people of faith can be understood in the concept of our rights. And we know the Bill of Rights. So we have freedom of religion, we have freedom of speech, and all the way down the line, all these different freedoms. And these freedoms are there to prevent the government from stepping in and taking them or denying us a right to say things. But those freedoms have two sides. Yes. So, for example, let's take the freedom of speech. You have the right to say anything you want, and the government can't step in and silence you. That within reason. And, you know, the old thing about, you know, not saying anything that's going to endanger people. So you have that. That is your right to do that. But we as people of faith, this is something I always like to bring up my own people. We don't believe in freedom of speech. I don't know if you knew that. So, wait a minute. Oh, we believe in freedom of speech, Father. It's right in the Constitution. Well, the Constitution is not part of the Bible. So what do we believe? What St. Paul says, say only the good things that people need to hear. So we're always to speak charitably. So we don't believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of charitable speech, but we don't believe in freedom of speech. The government can't arrest you for saying something that is protected speech, but you may not be serving Christ by saying something, even if it's protected speech. Do you understand the difference? All the way down the line. You know where I stand on the, you may not know where I stand on the Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe in my right not to own a gun. And I always say I practice the strongest form of gun control. I don't own a gun. Or weapon, as we should say. And the reason for that is, again, that whole higher authority. For example, I have a right to own a weapon, and I could possibly use the weapon to protect my person. But the question is, would that fit within the concept of my faith if use of the weapon, which could be legal, may not be within what the church teaches is the only time it's usable, which is the only way to stop an evil. So do you understand that? So we have all these rights as Americans, but we don't have the same rights per se as people of faith. That means we take things a little differently. So therefore, as far as, you know, we're always called to witness. And in our call to witness, we're called to live in such a way that as we witness, we demonstrate our love of God, love of neighbor, which means our actions will be defined that way. So do you understand that? So we begin with prayer every day, and we act on that prayer during the day. So our actions will be defined by our beliefs and the way we live. Therefore, our way of living can be radically different, which is the definition of holy, radically different than what is allowed for us to live. Do you see that? So that's an important distinction. And the other thing to keep in mind is we're not called to force others to believe as we believe. We are called to invite others to understand why we believe what we believe. Because if we force others to believe what we believe, then we've got a theocracy, and we're right back to the same system, divine right of kings, whether we're talking about a king, whether we're talking about the party, or whether we're talking about a dictatorship. You don't want that, because our country is set up that the power is in the individual person who lives a charitable way of life in service to God and neighbor. That's the way it's set up. And you don't want to walk down the path of this is the way you have to live. Otherwise, we will put you in jail. That's a dictatorship. Doesn't work. We'll talk more on the other side of the break. We'll be right back right after this. You can now leave a message for us, which we can air and discuss on this program. Just call 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. 617-297-7452. Feel free to call, leave a comment, a question, or even feedback, and we may play it on the air. I can discuss your comment or question as well, so give that a try. 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. We're back, and we're talking about Independence Day week, and we're kind of tying everything up right now. So you realize that our witness is central to who we are as Catholics and Americans, and to those who aren't Catholic, Christians and Americans. And therefore, our focus has to be on living charitably with others, and not necessarily being focused on demanding our rights. And this is important. Now, there's an interesting distinction that's come up. I guess was it Louisiana, that it's now mandated to put the Ten Commandments in every classroom and every building and everything else. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That's very good thing to do. However, we believe in freedom of speech and freedom of religion. So it's possible that the Satanists will say, well, if you put those in every public building, you have to put a statue of they have a special name, and I can't remember the name. You have to do that. And on what grounds are you saying no? Whereas if we understand that within Christianity, the law is written on our heart, and we understand not only the Ten Commandments, but we also understand the Beatitudes and the Golden Rule and every aspect of our faith, the call to pray every day, what we understand at Mass. If we understand all of that, then the Ten Commandments don't have to be on the wall at any public building, because we are demonstrating the Ten Commandments by the way we live our life. And this is an important distinction. And everything else that's part of the teaching. And so that's where it's called to be on display, so to speak. And that way, there is no issue with, well, now we have to let everybody in, so to speak, because it's not an issue. It is, yes, I will demonstrate my belief in the Ten Commandments by living the Ten Commandments. And I will demonstrate my belief in the Beatitudes by living the Beatitudes. I will demonstrate my belief in 1 Corinthians 13 by living 1 Corinthians 13. And if I fail in living one part of one of those, then I have the ability to seek forgiveness from the Lord. And as Catholics, we have confession. And that means I recognize that I am not living to the standard that I'm called to live, and I will choose to do so. All of this is very powerful, that are central to how we live our faith in this country today, because we're called to live as people of faith. That's what our country, that becomes the foundation of our country. Remember the warning of Alexis de Tocqueville. If you lose, Alexis de Tocqueville said the foundation, I forget the exact words, the foundation of our system are the churches. If you lose those, then the whole system collapses. And why? Because we live in charity. Living charitably with others. That's a central aspect of what we stand for, what we believe in, what we are all about. Doing the right thing in service to others. Do you understand that? Being people of prayer. And we want to be careful that we understand that so that we can be those signs to others. Remember, Christ called us to be the light of the world. That's what we're called to do. And I always like to bring that up in light of, remember Sodom and Gomorrah. Why was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? I talk about this all the time. And you can say, well, because of sin. No, it was because the lack of righteous people. You and I are called to be the righteous people, are called to be the people who seek to live as Christ calls us to live. One of the things to be very careful on, I see this a lot in traditional sectors, is the concept of your rights and the rules. Remember, if you're focusing there and you're focusing on, I'm going to follow the rules and just the way I'm supposed to, that's the minimum standard. We're called, St. Paul called us to a higher standard of living. So you don't want to be focused, oh, I have the rule to. A good example of this is in the pro-life movement. You have the pro-life movement, you have all people who are standing up against abortion, rightly so, and then they come along and there's a shooting and they'll say, oh, no. The gun issue is not part of the pro-life movement. However, if I turn around and say, I believe in that I cannot call myself pro-life and own a gun, that in my case, it certainly is. And there's that standard. See, it's a set of choice. It's not just the rules. It's a set of choice. It's not just a standard. It's a set of choices where I'm seeking to follow Christ. We'll have yourself a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.